Hello everyone, welcome to the Cryptid Camp podcast, something new I'm trying out here. I found a really interesting newspaper article and I could turn it into a video, but I felt like doing it myself this time. So, the article is called Giants in History. The Democrat, West Virginia, January 19th, 1874. The remarkable accounts of giants. For centuries, stories circulated across Europe and beyond about the existence of giants. People of extraordinary size whose remains, or in some cases living presence, were said to astonish entire nations. According to ancient Greek tradition, the body of Orestes, a legendary hero, measured more than 11 feet. Later, under the rule of Claudius Caesar in Rome, the giant called Galbara was reportedly brought alive from Arabia, said to stand nearly 10 feet tall. This case is striking because we are not talking about bones dug up from the earth, but a living person described as unusually tall. Exaggeration is likely, but it suggests Rome really did exhibit exceptionally tall individuals, perhaps men with what we now call gigantism. Other accounts speak of the bones of enormous humans. The keepers of the gardens of Sallust, Secondalia, and Pufio were reported to have been 10 feet tall. In Scotland, a man named Funam, during the reign of King Eugene II, supposedly reached 11.5 feet in height. Whether these were legends grown over time or actual physical anomalies, they reflect a tradition of recording giant men with national histories. Explorers too told such tales. In 1615, Dutch navigator Jacob Le Marie, sailing near South America, wrote that his crew uncovered graves containing skeletons between 10 and 11 feet long. This echoed rumors of the Patagonian giants that captivated European sailors for centuries. Travelers often reported strange remains. On the island of, which I'm just going to spell out because I know I'm going to butcher this name, Tenerife, Tenerife, in the Canary Islands, the Chevalier Scory claimed to have seen a skull belonging to a native Guanche with a jaw full of 80 teeth. The body, he wrote, must have been 15 feet tall. Did he exaggerate or mistake animal bones for a human? That is difficult to say, but the account survives as part of the giant tradition. The medieval romances also contributed. The giant Ferragus, slain by Orlando, the nephew of Charlemagne, was believed to have been 18 feet tall. Though clearly more myth than history, it was often mentioned alongside real discoveries, blurring the line between fiction and fact. Excavations in Rouen, Rouen, France, in 1509 produced one of the most detailed accounts, a stone tomb containing a skeleton whose skull could hold a bushel of grain, and whose shin bone alone was 4 feet long. On a copper plate was inscribed, "Here lies the noble Chevalier Ricon de Valemont, Valemont. To those who found it, this was no fable. It was a giant noble preserved in stone, yet modern scholars suspect that bones of extinct animals like mammoths or mastodons may have been misinterpreted as humans. Other reports were even larger. At Lucerne, Switzerland, Lucerne, physician Felix Platter claimed to have seen bones belonging to a 19-foot man. In Daphne, France, the people told of Bucart, B-U-C-A-R-T, a tyrant said to measure 22 feet, whose remains were discovered along the river Morderi. The most famous discovery came in 1613 when masons near a ruined castle unearthed a tomb 30 feet long. The inscription read Theutobos, Theotobacchus Rex. Inside, they found a skeleton 25 feet tall, its teeth as large as an ox hoof. At the time, they persuaded many that true giants had once walked France. Or maybe they really did. In Sicily, skeletons 30 to 33 feet long were claimed in the 1500s. In Greece, Athenians spoke of bones 34 to 36 feet tall. In Bohemia, a skull said to belong to a giant could not be encircled by two men's arms. By the 17th century, skeptics began offering more natural explanations. Sir Hans Sloane, physician and naturalist, studied such reports and concluded that many of these so-called giant bones were in fact the remains of elephants, whales, or other massive animals. Without modern paleontology, it was easy for ancient people to mistake such fossils for enormous human bones. Yet, as you've already noticed, this explanation doesn't cover everything. It can explain the oversized bones found in tombs or caves, maybe, but it cannot so easily explain the stories of living giants like Galbara, said to be paraded alive in Rome, or exceptionally tall men like Funam of Scotland. Those individuals were not misidentified fossils. They were remembered as real people. If the details about their exact height are exaggerated, which is possible, the core of the story is still that truly tall humans have always existed and inspired awe. And with thousands of giant reports from around the world echoed in the mythology of so many ancient civilizations, one has to wonder, is it possible there really was once a race of people taller than us? A people remembered across time as the giants of old. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to keep camping, exploring the mysteries of our universe.